Hello, everybody, and welcome to the infamous Q&A today. Thank you so much for coming. I'm joined here by the amazing Gemma Crow, the founder of Infamous Swim. Thanks so much for coming, Gemma.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is very exciting.
So before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that I'm coming to you from today. And we'd like to also pay our respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. So you might wonder who I am. My name's Emily. I'm working with Birchal, and Birchal's working with Infamous on their upcoming crowdsourced funding offer. So crowdsourced funding, or CSF, might be quite a new concept to a few people who are on the call today. So it's also known as equity crowdfunding. It's a relatively new form of fundraising in Australia that allows startups and small businesses to raise capital from a large number of smaller or retail investors, as well as wholesale and sophisticated investors through an online platform such as Birchal. So instead of seeking funding from traditional sources such as banks or venture capitalists, companies can turn to the general public, which is often their communities, to raise money in exchange for equity in their business. So Birchal, that's us, will be the licensed intermediary for the offer. Just to inform everybody, the information that we'll discuss today is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as financial advice or a recommendation to invest. So please do your own research. You're always welcome to ask Gemma as many questions as you like, and always consider the offer document and general CSF risk warning before investing. But more information is available on birchal.com on either the Infamous Swim profile or through our help section. So today's session I'll run you through with Gemma will basically be a fantastic presentation from Gemma's side. If you've got any questions at all, please pop them in the Q&A box. We will be circulating the webinar afterwards, so if you do miss anything, you're welcome to re-watch it, and we'll be asking Gemma some questions after her presentation. So please take it away, Gemma.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Emily. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to start by saying a massive thank you to Birchal. Since learning all about crowdfunding with Emily, it's such an amazing idea that we can have our community a part of our brand, because I've always thought about it, but never really understood how to do it. So Emily has really helped along the way with Birchal. So thank you so much. It just opens such an opportunity for people to be a part of Infamous Swim. So I'll start just by talking a little bit about me, the founder of Infamous Swim, and my background. I actually was a professional dancer at one point in my life, and started working for a surf company in Sydney and worked for quite a few years there in retail. I absolutely loved that side of the business. I loved buying bikinis. It was a big part of my spending habits. And I really wanted to be on the other side, like a wholesale kind of side of the retail business. Having not really studied any business marketing or anything like that, I went for some interviews at some really big surf companies that surf brands, and didn't even know how to use Excel at that time. So I promised myself I would never embarrass myself again, and went and learnt a lot about Excel and computer programs. I ended up working for a wholesale company at a very entry level, and just to get started and learn a lot about the wholesale side of like office side of business, and just said to myself, I'm literally going to work my way up and learn everything about this business and how I can, better my knowledge and kind of end up on the other end in a brand and wholesaling. So that's pretty much history. I worked my way up in this business from basically just admin, and ended up the kind of big boss of sales sidekick, and learned a lot about bringing stock in and bringing stock out and wholesale and sales margins, and I just absorbed a lot of information. So I then moved back to my hometown in Melbourne and worked for another company before deciding to venture off myself and end up in swimwear. So that's just a little background around my knowledge of sales and wholesale and margins and reporting and things like that. So I ended up taking on Infamous Swim, the name from a girlfriend of mine who just had the brand as like a hobby brand. She was selling just like very itty bitty bikinis from Bali and just kind of selling to friends at that time. And I thought to myself, I could really do something amazing here. I loved looking at Instagram and Pinterest and seeing matching family swim. I was pregnant at the time too. So I was constantly going through Pinterest looking up matching clothes. And I decided to do up some drawings of matching mum and mini swim. So it started off as matching mum and daughters. And I sent them off to my factory and they were like, this is a great idea. And I sent them off to about 150 different mum bloggers around Australia and overseas, and got about 6 answers back to say, I absolutely love this idea, but there was a lot of like no's or no replies. I did get one really good email from a large mum blogger in Australia who said, I love this idea so much. I'd love to put my name on one. This is before the brand had even launched or done anything. And I flew up with, I think Duke was like 4 weeks old at that time. I flew up with him to Sydney to meet her and get her name put on one of the swimwear pieces. So that's kind of where the whole idea started from. And then within our first month, I think we launched, hoping to sell a couple of pairs of swimwear per week, just so I could stay home with the boys and have something to do. And we sold about $40,000 worth in that first month. So my husband and I looked at each other and went, okay, we've got something really good here. So we need to either just reinvest all of our money or we put all of our money back into it and made it what it is today. What we basically did was we started off with just a few colorways and across a few styles. And I ended up doing 414,000 in that first year, which was just incredible. We ended up jumping on with some Facebook marketing, which was great, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But since then, we've introduced about 300 different color variations, which is huge. We have grown exponentially, like carving out a significant niche, but in the body positivity space. So it was meant to be matching mum and minis. And through a lot of community talking in Instagram, that was like my biggest thing, was kind of speaking with customers constantly on Instagram and Facebook, talking about your body shape, talking about breastfeeding, talking about pregnancy, stretch marks, all of that, and how, you know, to feel confident in your swim. It just naturally evolved into this big body positivity space. And I never meant for it to be that way, but we just ended up getting a lot of attention, a lot of engagement, a lot of PR around the body positivity space. And we have just continued to really work hard on that space, where I think a lot of other swimwear brands maybe just try to show up. So that is a really big part of us. But I'm proud of where we've come from. It's been a really big effort to get to $16.5 million worth of sales we did in the last 12 months. But bootstrapping that on our own, it's definitely come with highs and lows, that's for sure. So our brand mission and vision that we put together is making people feel confident in their body. So that is something that we live and breathe every single day, through our marketing, through our advertising, through models that we use, through our language that we use within the office. It is all about feeling confident in your swim. So a lot of women, especially after kids, but women in general, have body confidence issues, and that's what we've found is people are always picking their body apart, and we are trying to advocate, trying to really put that message out there, that, you know, all you need to do is be confident in your swim. You just put it on and you be confident, and that shows that next person next to you, your kids, the next generation, how to feel confident like in your body and in your swimwear. So matching is definitely our passion, but the body positivity message is definitely what we live and breathe. So the way we differentiate from our competitors is in that body positivity space, obviously living it and breathing it in every single aspect. shows that we are the front runners in this. So there's a lot of other swimwear brands that are just trying to show up, and they might have a couple of images on Instagram, whereas we are putting it into every part of design, and photo shoots and marketing, and you name it. We also have a lot of prints that we bring out. So that is a really big thing for us, even though we have the 80-20 rule where our top amount of products is about 80% of sales. We like to show up and have lots of different vibrant prints, lots of different textures, lots of different shapes, and we're trying to cater for all the different body shapes and people's different personalities. We also differ from our competitors in terms of our D2C approach. So our direct-to-consumer approach is our only approach. We haven't yet even gone near the wholesale side of things because we have such great margins direct to consumer. And within the Australian market, obviously reaching such a high revenue, we know that that particular strategy works. And we've now dabbled in the USA, which is about 23% of sales now, and where we want to open it up into other markets as well. So our company highlights today is that we have sold 756,000 pieces of swimwear, which blows my mind. We actually ran some reporting, and it shows that one piece of swimwear is sold every 90 seconds, which is a little bit nuts. So we've got a team of 16 plus in our crew, and then we've got a whole bunch of warehouse casuals that we've brought on, that depending on the peaks and troughs, they kind of come on for the work that we have. We have partnered with our manufacturer to ensure quality and lock in lower costs of production and lead times. And we have trusted outsourced partners in finance, e-commerce, digital marketing to help us grow substantially. So we have over 300 prints and 135 styles and counting that we have released so far. And because we saw such incredible sales with our resort wear, with our caftans, we are now doing a huge category in resort wear, which is exciting. That's coming up for this year. So just some really key kind of traction points. We've done 41.1 million revenue to date, sales to date, I should say. We've acquired 440,000 customers. We've grown from 2020 to 2023, 816%. We partnered with Share the Dignity, which is a charity helping women, homeless women within Australia that have been subject to domestic violence or just poverty and are in need of home and shelter and period products, is the main thing that they help with assisting. So we have donated $63,000 so far to this particular charity, as well as a couple of other charities in there as well. And we have 800 million plus total marketing impressions worldwide. So our overview of sales, we have our sales that come through our direct website. It's a Shopify website. We have 2 stores. So we have an Australian, New Zealand store, and then we have a worldwide store, which is majority USA at this point, and then a little bit of Canada and a little bit of other markets as well, but very, very small. So with our Australian website, our gross margins is about 60%, our average order value $133, and our repeat customer rate 34%, and our conversion rate sits between 1.5 and 1.8 depending on the time of year. Obviously being seasonal with swimwear, it's kind of up and down trend there. In worldwide, we have a much healthier gross profit margin. We are selling in USD on our worldwide website, so the conversion rate definitely does help. The average order value, which is insane over in the States, is $280. Now, we believe that this is based on the shipping costs that we do. It is expensive to ship from Australia overseas, and they get really good shipping rates if they spend over a certain amount. So that's what we believe, that people actually order more bikinis in the US to get that shipping, that cheaper shipping rate. Now, the repeat customer rate is quite a lot lower than we want. We do want to get to about 34%. It's at 17%. And we do believe that we can get there with our proven marketing strategy, which has worked really well for our last financial year. We're really excited for the new season to come. So it starts about January, February this year. And our conversion rate is quite low in the US as well. And I think this is due to we're going out and we're spending quite a bit to get, like, to acquire customers and get new customers. So we really want to bring that conversion rate up. But because the average order value is quite high, this kind of does level out quite a bit. So they're really great numbers that we're seeing abroad. And yeah, we're really excited to push that market a little bit further and definitely open up the UK and EU. So I'll talk a little bit more about that afterwards. So our community is everything to us. Through Instagram, as I was saying earlier, we would be speaking, and we still speak to them in DMs all the time about sizing. We're always trying to get the bra cup size, your underwear size, and help fit women. So we end up talking about all kinds of things. We also collaborate with other mum bloggers out there that have a very similar ethos to us as well. And I think we're taking about 30 women over to Bali actually next year in February for just a big event between ourselves and one of our beautiful ambassadors. So a little bit about our community. We've got 691,000 Instagram followers, which blew up quite quickly from the beginning. I think working with very similar, again, mum bloggers or body positivity ambassadors out there, that helped us to grow really fast, really quickly. We also get people to, like, they tag us in their swim and they're loving being shared. That is a big part of our community. We will always repost our customers when they're tagging us in their swimwear, because we know that our other customers that haven't yet bought from us want to see different body shapes and different people in their swims. So we find that super important. Nothing is really glossed over and really photoshopped. It's always just very true. You're seeing beautiful stretch marks. You're seeing different body shapes. You're seeing different ethnicities and different skin tones. So our TikTok following, which is quite new for us, and it is a bit of a younger demographic. So I'm a millennial. I think I'm a millennial, maybe older. But we have some great staff that have come on board doing our TikTok strategy, which has really grown, and it's an amazing younger community, I would say. The Facebook followers is 100,000. We reached that just recently, a very engaged following. This is probably our older demographic, so 35 to 45. And they are super, super engaged. And this is where we see a lot of organic sales as well. So we pay a lot in our growth for paid marketing, but we know that we can really tap into our organic marketing as well. And that's what we hope to do with the growth, is bring down our paid marketing and just focus on our organic, where we're going to see a lot higher profit. So the 332,000 brand searches per year. So this is through the Google platform. This is people searching infamous swim, infamous swimwear, infamous Australia. So that's how many people actually search us per year, which is pretty amazing. Our email subscribers are over 300,000, and our SMS subscribers are 185,611. Now, both of those marketing platforms are huge revenue streams for us. SMS is a little bit more expensive, but we're getting a very high ROI for SMS these days. The cut through is a lot better, and email marketing is starting to struggle. It gets a little bit harder now with all the Apple iOS laws and things that are happening there with privacy, but email is still a massive revenue stream for us. How am I going for time, Em? Am I waffling too much?
Never. Take your time.
Beautiful. So our product ranges. So we started with swimwear, just swimwear, and we very quickly decided that we would introduce activewear, obviously being a very easy transition because our manufacturers actually manufacture swim and activewear, and that is with a lot of swim manufacturers because it is a similar stretch fabric. We decided to do a matching mum and mini or family matching activewear in, I think it was like our 3rd year, and we saw a really good uptake in that. We just dabbled in some really light units and it went really well. So our next range is ready to come out in 2024, but we are expanding that as well with the leisure wear and some spray jackets and other bits and pieces as well. So we then this year brought out some matching sleepwear, which is perfect for Easter. We sold out of our first drop almost instantly, and we've now brought in another drop. We are working on really being a matching powerhouse by the looks of this slide. So with our pajamas, we're going to bring out some summer pajamas with shorts and a little bit of a lighter fabric as well. So we're definitely going to expand that range. So then lastly, we started doing caftans last year, and the caftans actually blew the socks off even some swimwear sales. So the resort wear is definitely a category that we are wanting to expand really large in. I've got all of our caftans behind us here. They sell phenomenally and we have such a high margin with those as well. So we are now going to go into a bunch of really easy resort wear options, and then we also have some resort to dinner, so some dresses and some other bits and pieces that you can actually wear out as well. So this is a little bit more about our collaborations and our prints. So we do have our safari leopard print, which is our original leopard, which is copyrighted, and that was in the beginning something that ended up copied through China quite a bit, and we had to get a legal team to go and kind of stop everyone from selling our leopard print, which was great that we got all of that signed off. We have over 300 custom, unique and vibrant print designs, and they're all body diversity focused styles. So we're trying to cater for your extra small up to your 3XL, and we are now extending that range up to a 5XL as well. When we have, like, we listen to our community and people write in and ask for specific items, and if we get asked a lot for that, then we'll really consider actually doing it. So with the size range, we've been asked many times, so now we're trying to expand it, but it is not an easy to expand into bigger sizing. It does get quite difficult, especially for overseas manufacturing. So we have to do all of our size fitting here in Australia and then make sure that all of the measurements come in right. So it has been a bit of a fiddly process, but we are getting to the end of it and should see some of that released in January next year. So our collaborations with influencers or artists, we've collaborated with Not So Mumsy, which is Marcia Leone, and Adele Barbaro, who is the Real Mama in Australia, and both of those have been very strategic partnerships and very great for the brand. So we launched with Marcia in our first year, which really kind of gave us a great brand position, and Real Mama is probably one of your most natural ambassadors that there is out there. She's not really salesy, and she is a really down-to-earth, beautiful woman who is incredible. So that's who we're going to Bali with over in February next year. We also collaborate with artists. So we've done some beautiful pieces with the Kunjalella sisters, Casey Rainbow, and then we have our international collaborations as well. So Erica Shaw is a big mum blogger over in Canada, and we created a beautiful style with her and her family. And then also Whitney Carson from Dancing with the Stars over in America, who has just a very tight audience, and it was an amazing collaboration. So these are just some of the prints that we have online at the moment. We offer probably around 60 prints. As I was saying before, the top products are about 80% of sales, and they do differ between Australia and USA, but we have certain blocks that so a block is actually the style of swimwear. So we've got like an off-shoulder one piece, which is our top seller, and then like our active Gia top and high-waisted bottoms that are our top pieces. And then there's a couple of colors that are majority of sales, but we like to show up to give our customers a unique experience because everyone has different taste. And we want to allow people to be able to pick and have their unique taste when they're wearing their swimwear. So digital marketing has been a really big part of our brand, paid digital marketing. And that does differentiate us from the brick and mortar stores. We're very close to our customer. We're able to listen to our community. We can capture all interest-based data, which helps power our strategy even further. We have an amazing agency and consulting agency that I work with. So like business coaches, that work with some 9-figure businesses within Australia that I get to speak to. And it's just a wealth of knowledge. So we're constantly at the forefront of all paid marketing and making sure that we're really kicking goals with everything that we do in that part. So we're also, really able to get direct to our consumer and find our direct market that we're trying to hit. As I mentioned before as well, our email and our SMS flows are a really big part of the business, which is like not as expensive as paid advertising and gets a really, really great ROI. And we also have our trademarking at infamousswim.com.au and infamousswim.com. We've also trademarked Infamous within Australia, and Infamous and Mini Swim, and Infamous and Mini Active in the USA, EU, UK, and Australia. So our business model is that we design in-house. A lot of people ask if we actually just purchase off a rack. So the answer is no. We design everything from scratch, from our prints, from our swimwear blocks, which is the style. Then we send off for manufacturing, which we get to go through that whole process. Then we market it direct to our customer database and out to acquire new customers. And then we deliver everything from South Dandenong here in Melbourne. So we've got a full warehouse setup structure, full pick and pack and logistics team. So our business strategy and what we're going to do with the funds. So we've already got our proven marketing strategy, which has worked so well for us already. And we are looking at extending the product ranges, expanding our community with our paid marketing strategies, and also tapping into our organic Facebook even more. We are opening up to new markets, UK and EU in 2024. So we've just signed on with Global E, which is a leading platform that helps with cross-border growth. So they actually integrate into our website, and for a customer that's in the UK or anywhere in Europe, they will see in their cart the customs and duties that are due on their items. So a lot of issues that arise for Australian companies to ship abroad is that when a customer buys it from somewhere in Europe or even say Canada, when it gets to their custom borders, they are dumped with big duty costs and custom costs. So a lot of customers actually deny the package and send it back. So that is a very big issue for Australian brands. And with this global partner who partners with some of the biggest brands in the world, we are able to be very transparent to our consumer and our community, and they will see all of the duties and taxes, and they can do their due diligence in finding the right price. Similar to us when we buy from very large websites coming in from Europe, we can see all the taxes, all the duties and everything. We are focusing on growing the USA further. So we had such a great year, which I can show you a little bit later in our graphs. In our first year of really targeting them quite hard. And our the way that our profitability works with our lifetime value of our customer is that when they come around the second time, that is really where the profit kicks in. So this here just shows a very high level of sales of the last 2 financial years. So the top graph is actually our Australian and our New Zealand. So you can see how we're seasonal, how the graph kind of goes over our summer and the Black Friday period. And then it takes a drop down as we enter into our autumn and into our winter. Then you can see our sales worldwide over the last 2 years. So you can see, obviously, in the darker pink there, our last year had extreme growth in mostly the USA here and a little bit of Canada. But you can see how the graph also has a peak period. So the idea is that our sales are really great in Australia already, but we do have that part where the sales come down to a bit of a trough. So when we expand over to the USA, over to the UK and EU, you're going to see that nice incline over those months where it drops within Australia. And the growth you can see there from Australia to New Zealand is quite large, and then in USA as well. So we're really excited about the next season to come in the USA. So this is just my last slide, just to show our yearly sales of growth. So from 2021, these are all end of financial years. You can see that the growth of 2023 was quite extreme, all being bootstrapped. We don't know what's ready for us. We are just getting started. We think that, you know, with the USA and the UK and EU, that this is going to be amazing. So just with last year, obviously that growth has come from that big lift in the USA, and that market is 300 million plus, whereas Australia is 24 plus million. So we're really excited to expand overseas and hopefully have a lot of people on board from our community to help us do that. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Gemma. That was super informative and really appreciate it. You can unshare your screen now if you want, so we can see your lovely face. Perfect. So we've had a few questions come through. So at the moment, what's your annual marketing budget and what are your key marketing channels?
So our key marketing channels are paid Facebook, paid Google, paid TikTok. We do an influencer paid strategy as well. And we like to sit at 30% marketing expense to revenue. So basically we're observing it every month. We do strategize and look at what we're forecasting for the future. We've got a financial model that we build out for the next 3 years, but we're always trying to stick around that 30% for profitability.
Brilliant. At the moment, what are your current return rates in Australia and the US?
Are we talking about swimwear returns or customer return rate?
That's a good question. From what I can see, I think it means swimwear returns.
So I think the benchmark for swimwear returns is like 70%, which is really high. I think it would blow everyone's mind. However, we do not offer refunds. We offer credit note. We offer exchange. Obviously, for faulty, we offer what we have to for the ACCC, but we don't offer refunds for change of mind. We know, just built off our community, that doing that is a very expensive exercise. So we have protected ourselves to not open up to do that. So our return rate, as in exchange rate, is 22% roughly, between 20 to 22%.
Is your policy surrounding returns and not doing refunds to do with hygiene as well?
It is. However, when you do an exchange for a size, you're still getting swimwear back that has been potentially worn. We do have a very strict checking procedure. Any swimwear that comes back from customers that has marks or anything like that is directly returned to the customer and communicated. So we've got very strict rules around that. We do have everything in place for like hygiene stickers and all of that we need to have for the hygiene safety as well. But in terms of exchange rate, I believe we do sit really quite well. We do have a very structured sizing chart, but also where customers can reach out. Our customer service are very heavy on in sizing and making sure that people are getting the right sizes and that we're actually exchanging fast and efficiently.
Brilliant. So at the moment, are there any plans to launch direct to consumer in other markets outside of Australia and the US?
So the plan is to launch out to the UK and EU. We've had a bit of sales. I think it's like just under 1% for both the UK and EU in terms of annual sales percentages. But we've not been game to advertise there based on what we've seen in Canada. So within Canada, I believe anything over the value of $22, they get slammed with a very high customs and duty. So we would get a lot of customers receive their goods in Canada and then say, I'm not accepting it because I'm not paying that extra cost. So it was like it seemed like a hidden cost to them, where in their country you expect people to know what their customs and duties are. A lot of people don't. So with Globally, which is the platform that I was talking about earlier, they make it all transparent for every customer to come on. As soon as you put things in your cart, you're seeing exactly what your taxes are, exactly what your customs are, and your duties. So there is no surprises when it gets to your country. So that's why we're starting to target EU and UK now. So I think the integration process is about 8 weeks with Globally, which is quite large because they integrate fully in with your website. And the good part about Globally is that Shopify actually owns 12.5% of their business, which means that costs from payment gateways aren't actually sent across to us now. We actually they will absorb some of those costs. So it's a more profitable exercise, which is great.
Yeah, brilliant. So at the moment, what are your and the company's views on sustainability? Are the products made using sustainable materials and or practices? And if so, or if not, what's the forward vision around sustainability? Sorry, I can't get my words out.
Sustainability is a really big thing. We have a plan to get to a much better sustainable point by 2025, and that includes things within the office and in our manufacturing. So a whole level of sustainability that we're trying to work towards. Our factories are they don't use the sustainable fabric at this point, and it is something that we are looking into, and that comes with considerable costs and research. So we are wanting to put a lot of research and development into those areas, but that is quite a costly exercise as well. So we definitely want to look into that with funds that we raise. And the fabrics that come with that as well also have an extra cost. However, with our products and the quality of our products, because we have very high quality products, that they will last quite a long time. So you're not buying just cheap fabrics that are going to wear and tear really quickly. So you actually do have products that are going to last you a long time. We still have customers that have bought in our first year of 2018 that tag us on social media saying we're still wearing the same pieces from 2018, which is just amazing to see.
It's incredible. I think it really shows how sustainable a product is if it lasts the test of time. So yeah, it's brilliant. So where is the swimwear currently manufactured? What country?
Originally it was in Bali, but our manufacturing is now in China.
Awesome. And would you consider Would you consider localized warehousing to avoid customs and duties charges overseas?
We definitely would. So we have done some research into third-party logistics, so 3PLs in other countries. We've had many discussions at this stage. We have said that until we are doing around 5 million in the US, that we won't actually consider it, because the costs, the financial costs, kind of didn't match up until you're doing that amount. We are pretty close. I reckon by next year we will be doing that amount, but until we do that amount, that is in our kind of booklet that we've said, let's not go and look into that again, because it was quite a costly exercise speaking to a lot of warehousing. And it really is about the space, because we have such a large offering. It's about that warehousing space. But no, we definitely would look into warehousing in other countries. I speak on a large community of e-commerce brands, and we're always kind of talking about this. So yeah, we're definitely open to it eventually, but the market has to be big enough at that point.
Yeah, absolutely, fair enough. So at the moment, your customer support, is that run locally or offshore?
Both. So we have 2 girls that are actually in Cebu, and they have been with us since 2018. They are definitely a part of us, and they know our company insides and out. But we also have 2 customer service staff members here in Australia. So we've got a community manager that does all of our Instagram and oversees our offshore team members. And then we've also got another lady in our office who does like returns and speaking with customers on that part as well. So half up.
Amazing. So just looking back at your figures, do you believe the 2021 to 2023 sales have had a COVID spending impact and may taper back as we now normalise?
No. So when COVID hit in 2020, and this will be a big part that I've chatted about in my offer doc, swimwear, people were not able to go outside. Well, in Melbourne, we were definitely locked down quite a lot, but in Melbourne, we were not able to go out anywhere, not even like outside around our houses. So we took a big risk and took out a loan and went over to the States at that time. And it was basically like, this loan needs to come out and pull off by targeting the States. And if it doesn't, then I'm not sure what's going to happen. So our Australian sales actually flatlined through COVID, and the USA actually got us through that time. Melbourne had an extended COVID compared to everywhere else, so sales did start to pick up again, but obviously we were still down because Melbourne people weren't purchasing. Post-COVID, there has become a travel era now. Everything is about travel, so this is where we're seeing our amazing growth. People not only use their swimwear and take photos on their holidays, but they also get swimwear just to take photos at home in their mirrors and everything as well, because we are really built on like a community of tagging with our brand. So people are very proud to wear Infamous Swim. We are a household name within Australia. So people love to get their swims and do stories and, post with their kids, which make for really cute images as well. So it's not just functional and quality swimwear and fun swimwear. It's also, a really fun thing to do with your family and connect with your family. But COVID definitely was a tough time for us, where a lot of loungewear and t-shirt brands and everything saw a really big uplift. We still saw growth, but I do feel like we would have grown bigger and faster had COVID not hit.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a challenge then. What would you say your biggest challenges are currently in the business that you need to address when growing further?
Wow, growing as fast as we did definitely brings up a lot of challenges. So we have only just recently moved into our South Dandenong space, which is 1,500 square meters. So obviously, like bootstrapping this myself, you're having to put all of the money back in to build and grow in those one-off expenses. Also in training teams and making sure that you're getting supply. So product demand planning is also another challenge. There has been a very big number of challenges. What was the exact question, actually, Emily? Because I feel like I've gone off on a tangent.
No, you haven't gone on a tangent. It was what are the challenges that you're currently facing as a business in order to grow?
Yes. So yeah, it is all of those things. It's the warehouse space we now have, but it's training staff up down in the warehouse. We're about to come into our biggest time, which is Black Friday. And it is a very big time for all e-commerce brands, making sure that we're training up all staff members, but also looking at the new products that are coming in for next year and making sure we've got enough product for the sales revenue that we want to hit. Also making sure that our paid marketing strategy can actually cover for, all of that growth. So yeah, there's many challenges.
Fantastic. Will you be growing your team when you get more investment?
We will be growing our team a little bit. I feel like we're quite efficient. We've got enough staff members to really kind of deal with probably double what we've got at the moment. I would like to expand my team with senior staff. So potentially like a C-suite, a CFO or a CEO that's very operational. That would be in my maximum kind of spend tier, is to get someone on in that really high operational area.
Yeah, fantastic. At the moment, what's the lifetime value in Australian dollars of your current customer?
This is a really tricky question to ask because everyone has a different, there's a lot of websites that have a different formula for it. This will be out in our offer doc because we're still kind of working on that structure. I think it's like AOV, which is the average order value, which of ours is quite high, times the average purchase frequency, which at this point, I think we've worked out people come back to us 2.1 times. And then there's like a third times, but we're still working on those figures. So that will be coming out in our offer document.
Terrific. I know you mentioned that Black Friday is coming up, and I know that's a huge time for you guys. How much stock will you be holding?
We are holding quite a lot of stock at the moment. So this will come out in our offer document as well. We're holding about 30 million at full RRP of stock right now. So we have ample stock ready to go for this period. So we're really excited.
That's huge. How exciting and nerve-wracking. I know when I spoke to your team the other day about what Black Friday is like, they said it's like a marathon. You just keep going. So
we have our paid Facebook team actually have day and night shift. So they have day, and then there's people awake in the night because they're constantly bidding and constantly looking and making sure that we're staying on a right ROI. So it is literally a day in, day out thing. It's insane.
Madness.
It is madness.
So what's your active customer base in Australia versus the US currently?
So number of customers?
I guess so. They've asked active customer base, but
I don't have that off the top of my head. I'll make sure that I have that in the offer document though. But so our customer email lists, well, our email list at the moment is over 330 people. But the US was 23% of revenue last year. But obviously that is less customers because the AOV is double the Australian. So I will make sure that I have active customers for Australia and USA comparison in the offer doc for you.
Awesome. You might not know this off the top of your head, but leading on from that question, do you know the number of customers who have transacted in the last 12 months?
So many numbers. I could probably run it really quickly, but I don't. We did.
Fair enough.
We had 21,000 orders alone in November. last year. So that gives you like that 1 month. And I think, oh gosh, I wish I've got so many Excel spreadsheets open on my computer right now, but I think it was like 18,000 in December as well. So that gives you some idea. But that's all comes out in the offer doc as well anyway.
Good to know. So why do you think the average, I think AOV,
Average order value.
average order value is double in the US? Do you think it's because of them having to get over a certain threshold to get the free postage or discounted postage?
Yeah, look, I do, but we've thought about this quite a bit, because to get the postage, it's only over 99. So it's really not that like it shouldn't push it up that much. But I do think it is because they do get the free shipping. So they go, I may as well get as many as possible. Like I know that some potential orders, when they order 6, because some people order seriously like 6 or 8 pairs from the US, where we don't see that as much in Australia, that they're going, okay, the shipping rate for me to get this big parcel is cheap, so I may as well get as many as I possibly can. So yeah, it is really interesting. I feel like we need to dive a little bit more into that. We are looking at doing some surveys as well, which we've never done before. So we're wanting to put a little bit of money into that research and development on that as well, because yeah, that number's amazing. And if we can get the same from the UK and the EU on that, then yeah, we're flying. We're excited.
Awesome. So what would you say the main incentives are for those who do invest in the company?
Being a part of an epic Australian company in swimwear, that's what I reckon the main thing is. Our offers haven't actually come out. They'll be in the offer doc, but there will be incentives, so percentages off for the year. There'll be some gift cards for depending on the different amount that you put in. And also for the people in the EOI section, so it opens for 24 hours or 48 hours, I think privately, just to everyone that has put their interest into the EOI. So if those people sign up within that 48 hours, they actually get a free $89 caftan, which is our top selling product. So that's a little bit exciting. They're just a few little added extras, but being a part of such an awesome Aussie company, and, you know, we're wanting to eventually flip the company to the US and be an Aussie swimwear company over in the US. So being a part of, you know, potentially a really big brand over in the States.
Amazing. So there's a few questions that will come through that will be answered in the offer document when the offer does go live. So, you know, the valuation of the company, that will be within the offer document for people asking that question, just so you're aware. Exit events we can't really discuss at this moment because it is quite prospective. So unfortunately, that's not something that we can really discuss at this stage. And similarly, where we see the business in 5 years' time, it's just prospective information at this current stage. So this one's not a question. This is from, I hope you don't mind me sharing your name, Nikki. She said she's bought her first pair of Infamous swimwear in June for a Europe trip in July, then bought another pair the moment she got home because she loved them so much. The sizing and the quality was absolutely phenomenal and had a really positive post-purchase experience with the customer service team.
That's awesome. Thanks, Nikki.
Cool.
I didn't pay you to jump on. That's awesome. Thank you.
That's so lovely. I've had a question about who the current shareholders are in the company. I think you can actually answer that one at the moment, Gemma.
Yes, so I am currently 90%, and there is our overseas manufacturer who owns 10% shares in the company.
Terrific.
Yeah.
What's the average sale price of the swimwear in Australian dollars?
So we sell them separately. So all of our separates are between 69 and 84. So 69 is the entry level. And then it goes up to 84 depending on the fabric quality or the collaboration. And then in the US, that is in US dollars. So in the worldwide website, it's in US dollars. So that is where we get the nice exchange rate at this time anyway.
So there's been a question, are there plans to dilute that shareholding further? So yes, that will occur when the raise goes live and the offer goes live on the platform. We've got 5 minutes left if anybody has some final questions coming through. I know that a few of you, it seems, might be a little bit new to equity crowdfunding. So as a really good little help section on the Birchal website. So if you just head to birchal.com, scroll down to the bottom of the pages and a help and frequently asked questions center, where you can see a lot of things that are generally discussed around crowdsourced funding. And we also have a customer support network. So if you have any questions, you can speak live to our customer support. I think we might have all of the questions answered, which is fantastic. But thank you so much, Gemma, for your time, and thank you everybody for joining. Oh, we've got one more question. I think we've definitely got this. So you've mentioned the gross margin was 60% in Australia. What would be the average cost of goods?
So in dollar value, I probably so basically our gross margin is about 90%. So I probably wouldn't give off my actual prices of my swimwear. I'm not sure if that's what we're asking, but so 90% is our top margin. But now with our new partnership, we are working even harder to get those better. So obviously the gross profit margins come in with shipping out, shipping in, many other costs are obviously involved in that gross profit margin. So, and you know, obviously if we're discounting or doing any sales and stuff like that. So yeah.
Fantastic. And why have you chosen this particular mode of funding versus other funding?
Yeah, well, we've got such an amazing community, and my husband had floated the idea to me before about getting our community on board. And I think I just like the idea of having people that I know love the product, trust in our product, and trust in us in being a part of our business. And then, you know, hopefully down the track, being able to share in those wins.
Yeah, fantastic. So if anybody has any further questions, please feel free to reach out to Gemma. She'll be available via the Birchal profile or also in emails that we'll be following up. Further information surrounding financial structure, all of those things can be found in the offer document, which will be live once the offer is released to the general public. But thank you so much, Gemma, for joining today, and everybody else who's come along. We really appreciate your time and really wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and thank you for all your help in this. This is awesome. Just getting the community on board is amazing, and we're super excited.
Absolutely my pleasure, Gemma. You take care. Thank you, everybody.